people like me. You need people like me so you can point your fingers and say, that's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy.
Okay, we'll start with this. Unifications are on the agenda for Nick Ball after Sam Goodman win. Music to my ears, the featherweight division has stood divided for far too long, and there's no shortage of great fights to make between the titleists. Nick Ball left the Riyadh ring with a sparkling WBA featherweight title still attached to his waist after 12 seemingly nip-and-tuck rounds with Australian challenger Sam Goodman. The scores were perhaps a little wider than many anticipated. Ball's promoter, Frank Warren, had his pocket rocket winning by 4 rounds, crediting Goodman for giving a marvelous account of himself after being quizzed by Boxing News reporter Andy Purewall. The veteran promoter revealed that big fights, mainly unifications, are of interest next.
There's a reason for that, and I know what it is.
Back in the ring, Goodman, for all of his qualities, was upright and remained in hittable range just long enough for Ball to unleash his bombs. If Sam could hit a little harder, it might have been a different story. I've already recapped the fight in my weekend recap video and why it played out the way it played out. In so many words, Sam Goodman lost some steam. He started off all right, but he slowed down due to the feverish pace that Nick Ball sets for a fight. The silver lining for Sam is giving the account of himself that he did. He showed that he belongs, that he's not out of place as a featherweight, and that he can be competitive with the upper echelon fighters there. So maybe Frank Warren might decide to bring him back against one of his other guys at that weight. If not Frank Warren, somebody else with some stock in the featherweight division. So it's not the end for Sam just because he lost. What seems to have costed Sam was a bit of a lack of cardio, experience at this level, and punching power. He doesn't have much punching power. The originally touted foe was Luis Nery, who would have brought that element of stylistic jeopardy given his punching power. Speaking of punching power, Naoya Inoue can certainly bang a bit. A fight between the Japanese destroyer and Ball would spark interest should Inoue chance a move north. If Inoue's power carries, Ball may have to rethink his own approach a little. Goodman enjoyed plenty of success downstairs and with the left hook up top. One of Ball's key strengths was that he makes you fight. Avoiding a physical battle for long periods is impossible. When Goodman enjoyed success in the earlier rounds, it wasn't long before Ball stopped trying to overwhelm and instead worked his way in behind that powerful up jab. He dragged the Aussie into a fight as Sam scrambled to escape the phone booth battle. As for those unifications, the featherweight division is rather unique in that it holds a number of champions and challengers with different skill sets and styles. IBF King Angelo Leo is a proven, fast-paced operator with a sharp left hook. WBC champion Stefan Fulton holds 2 wins over Brendan Figueroa. Rafael Espinoza's long levers and dimensions are primed to cause issues for anyone. A fight between him and Ball would produce interesting visuals when they step off in center ring. That'd be a David and Goliath fight between Rafael and Nick, but, Rafael's so tall, so much taller than everybody else that him versus everybody is a David and Goliath fight. Elsewhere, the likes of Brandon Figueroa, Bruce Carrington, Luis Nery, and Rotisserie Ramirez are all still hanging around, although none hold the titles or risk and reward potential required for Ball and Warren's liking. Either way, the time has arrived for career-defining matches with contemporary champions. Both Warren and Ball know that. They say the time has arrived all of a sudden. Nick Ball has been WBA featherweight champion for about a year now. So why all of a sudden is he so interested in unifying? I'm not complaining, I'm just saying that I could have went for a unification match over a TJ Doheny fight or a Ronnie Rios fight, a Sam Goodman fight. Why all of a sudden is unifying titles as a priority? 2 words. Mirko Coelho.
That ain't 2 words, that's a name.
So here's 2 words for you. Mandatory challenger. Mirko Coelho of Argentina, unbeaten in 16 professional starts with 13 knockouts, is Nick Ball's mandatory challenger. And you know how this works. The only way to get out of fighting a mandatory is to unify titles with somebody. So for rolling the dice with some tough Argentinian slugger, albeit a nondescript one, you may as well fight a champion. And that's why I think all of a sudden they're talking about unifying. When they weren't under any pressure to satisfy a mandatory, they were happy to wait. Happy to wait for Inoue to move up, even though he has no immediate plans to. But they were still happy to do it, where Mirko Coelho, who's already seen action 2 times this year, will be breathing down Nick's neck for his shot at the big time. Mirko saw action in February of this year, and more recently, earlier this month, on the 8th.
That was just a few days ago.
Mirko squared off against unbeaten Sergio Jimenez, who he stopped in 2 rounds.
He'll be looking to do the same to Nicky if he can get his hands on him.
Frank Warren has to stop that. Frank Warren can't let him. The only way out of this is to face another champion. But therein also lies a dilemma. Based on what I saw yesterday, I already didn't like Nick Ball's chances against Rafael Espinoza. But based on what I saw yesterday, I don't know that I like his chances against Angelo Leo either. Angelo Leo has proven at this weight that he can punch, he can hurt guys. Moving up in weight, some power seems to have come with him. When he took the IBF title from then champion Luis Lopez, he didn't just beat him, and he didn't just knock him out, he gave that guy a brain bleed.
Yeesh.
Saw Nick Ball on the receiving end of a lot of punches from Sam Goodman. If Sam had a bit more power, like Angelo Leo, landing those same punches, who really knows? So let's just say that even though Nick Ball all of a sudden wants to unify, Rafael Espinoza and Angelo Leo are not exactly safe choices. For me and my money, the light-punching Stephen Fulton, who had a horrific featherweight debut, would be the better way to go. He's not otherwise preoccupied right now. He was attached to a move to 130 for an Oshaki Foster fight that now has been left in limbo. Supposed to go down on the undercard of Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Roach 2 that has now been stalled. Perhaps he would be interested in unifying titles with Nick Ball.
But didn't he beat Angelo Leo?
He did at 122, but they're both at 126 now, and Angelo seems a much stronger puncher than he did before, whereas Stephen still isn't big on power. He's coming off a second win over Brandon Figueroa, who he already beat before at 122. At 126, he may be a safer choice for Nick Ball than Angelo Leo, because Stephen's not big on power. He's more boxer than brawler.
Nick puts the pressure on him, squeezes him. Maybe he can win a points decision on activity. Maybe he can knock him out. He's been knocked out before.
The story is, Nick Ball wants to unify right now, and I don't like his chances against Espinoza or Angelo Leo, but maybe with Stephen Fulton, who is not otherwise preoccupied right now, they can sweeten the deal, incentivize a fight, and get him in the ring for what still is his green and gold title. Let's see what develops.
Hey, what's up, guys? Playing beautiful Pebble Beach, but I had to stop my golf because it's so frustrating. Boxing right now is just stale, especially here in America. Fighters don't want to fight each other. Perfect example, Xander Zayas. We have a perfect fight for you on a silver platter, pay-per-view. Let's do it from Las Vegas, MGM. And you keep saying you want to go to Puerto Rico? How? Your promoter has no TV whatsoever. Where are you gonna fight? Fucking OnlyFans? Dude, we have the zone. We have the pay-per-view. We have the date. You and Virgil, Mexico, Puerto Rico. It's huge. What are you waiting for? Let's do this. I mean, this era right here, I cannot wait for this era to finish. Only the fighters that don't want to fight and who are literally pussies, man. They want to do it for extra millions and this and that. No, let's be real here. Pay-per-view, the zone, Virgil Ortiz, Xander Zayas, let's do it, Las Vegas. What are you waiting for?
I have my reservations about this whole thing between Virgil and Xander and whether or not this is an earnest effort to make a fight, because they spoke to Keith Thurman first, and it seems like they only contacted Xander after the fight fell apart with Thurman.
Why would you go to Keith first if what you wanted was a title shot? They go to Xander, and they didn't just go to Xander, they also went to Erickson Lubin.
Because of how bad you want to fight Xander, I take it. To know what? Let's can the conspiracy theories, and just for argument's sake, let's take all of this at face value, and let's just assume they're serious. They are earnest about doing this fight. I saw a girl who goes by the name Holly Pop. She's kind of cute.
Yeah.
Say, what more do you want to see, Xander? This offer is better than what it should have been.
Really?
To be honest, you want to be at home? Earn the right to call the shots. B-side.
Wait. She thinks that Xander's the B-side to Virgil.
It's another one of these boxing fans that thinks their ethnic background has any bearing on what's going on. It's her Mexican roots that compel her to say this. Rather, Virgil's Mexican roots, but there's no quantifiable metric that suggests Xander is the B-side to Virgil.
Last I checked, Xander's the champion and Virgil's but a challenger with no belt.
Challenger whose father took to social media saying Virgil is just giving him his opportunity. Since he keeps getting on social media for it, he might have a belt, but he don't or won't make that kind of money without Virgil.
Oh, I see, but Virgil will make it without him. Fighting Erickson Lubin? Is that gonna be a pay-per-view?
See, this kind of attitude is why your son, who's 27 years old, close to 30, hasn't fought for a full world title yet.
Oh, he's a star already.
All this stuff about how Virgil's resume is better than Xander's at 27 years old, it's supposed to be.
Supposed to be better than a guy who's 22, but why does the guy who's 22 have a belt and you don't?
So I'm gonna take this at face value, and I'm gonna look at how they tried to negotiate this fight. You're not the champion. You're a voluntary. That's what you are to Xander. Xander doesn't owe you a title shot.
So what you got is a voluntary demanding a title shot, saying that I should get what the champion gets, and I get to pick the location too.
We're talking about a 50-50 split. That's what they offered, that Virgil has to get whatever Xander gets. So what incentive is there for Xander to give him the shot willingly at only 50%? You're the one that needs a title shot, not him. He's got a title.
If Virgil had a belt, I could see, but he doesn't. This ain't a unification match, and you're not on equal footing with him. You're the one that needs the shot.
And you're not so big a draw that you can pull rank on him as if you're the A-side?
What?
Okay, I'll tell you what, A-side. You can go fight Erickson Lubin and see what that does. And as far as Oscar's point about how well Xander fight in Puerto Rico at a time where Top Rank is between broadcasters, you don't have to worry about that. That's their problem. They have to sort that out. From what I can see, you guys tried to pull rank on the champion that doesn't owe your fighter a title shot. Your fighter actually has no leverage over the champion.
Your fighter who's coming dangerously close to 30, I know he doesn't look it, but Virgil's almost 30 years old. He's closer to 30 than he is to 20, and he ain't fought for a title yet. Whose fault is that?
The point that I'm making is if you're serious about fighting for a title, this ain't the way you go about it because you don't have any leverage over Xander. He doesn't owe you a shot. You have to sweeten the deal, incentivize it for him to give you a shot. And asking for half and picking the location, that's not how you do it.
It's not, and that's why he doesn't have a title and he's fighting Lubin next.
Now, if they said 60-40, I could see. That's more negotiable, but you're demanding half and you're telling the champion where he's got to fight?
Get a load of him.
And you think you're giving him an opportunity? You'll be 28 years old before you fight for a title. Do you understand that? See, that's your problem. You think you're in the driver's seat. You think you have a lot more leverage than you actually do.
Virgil don't owe you nothing. The guy who does owe you a shot, Sebastian Fundora, you seem real happy to not fight him.
Look at you. You went to Keith Thurman for a fight, Erickson Lubin for a fight, even Xander for a fight. But what about Sebastian? Aren't you WBC interim champion?
Maybe Golden Boy Promotions promised Samson Lukowicz that they'd keep Virgil off of their guy.
Maybe that's what it is. It all looks very odd to me. And the whole time this is going on, Virgil's not getting any younger, whereas Xander, he has the luxury. He has the luxury of time. He's younger.
He's got his belt. What have you got?
A date with Erickson Lubin. If this was your way of getting a title shot, it seems you overplayed your hand.
In men's heavyweight news, Alex Krassyuk wants to make Joshua versus Fury. The same Alex Krassyuk that used to promote Alexander Usyk up until a few weeks ago when it was announced they went their separate ways.
Alexander Usyk's ex-promoter Alex Krassyuk is willing to help Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua make the Fury fight. Krassyuk has worked alongside Hearn and Frank Warren to make 2 fights against Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. He presided over Usyk's dominance as he beat both men on 2 occasions on his way to becoming undisputed at heavyweight. Usyk also defeated Daniel Dubois, another one of Warren's fighters, to become undisputed at heavyweight for a 2nd time. While Fury is currently retired, Krassyuk is offering his help in trying to convince the Gypsy King to take the fight. But how could Usyk's ex-promoter help that situation? We all know what his role was before. His role before was representing Usyk and making sure he doesn't get jerked.
Yes, he's worked alongside Eddie Hearn. Yes, he's worked alongside Frank Warren. In representing Usyk, though, he doesn't represent him anymore. So what would his role be in a set of negotiations with Anthony and Tyson?
AJ has the best promoter behind him in Eddie Hearn. I treat them both like brothers, and if I can be helpful, I will always be willing, Krassyuk said. Will it happen? Nevertheless, chances of that fight happening are slim. Fury recently said that he is not going to come out of retirement. Although the Gypsy King has shown previously that he can reverse his decisions, he retired after beating Dillian White, only to then come out of retirement to eventually secure the 2 Usyk fights. Fury did state, though, he would only return for Usyk.
Nobody wants to see a 3rd Usyk fight. You already lost the first 2. There's no need for a 3rd.
If I was gonna come back, I'd come back for Usyk. In England. That's the one I want immediately. That would be the fight I want next. My last fight was a clear victory for the Gypsy King. I want a fair fight.
Oh, because you think it's fair to have it in your neck of the woods. It's not fair if you have to fight in a neutral territory.
I don't want any favors. I want a fair fight and a fair result.
You want home field advantage because you couldn't win the first 2 times.
Which I know I didn't get. I thought I won it by 5 rounds. I've watched it 250 times. Each way, I never see it as a way for him to win. Fury revealed.
Watch it 250 more. You lose 250 times.
Only a jackass like Tyson Fury would think that he got jobbed when he had every conceivable advantage. You're the taller man, the bigger man, you're even the younger man. The promotion was really behind you, and I'd go as far as saying that El-Sheikh seemed more like a Fury fan than an Usyk fan. But you lost, buddy. You lost 2 times. You were supposed to steamroll the rabbit, remember? You were supposed to knock him out.
The general stupidity of Tyson Fury's comments services as a distraction from the fight that people want to see him in, because they don't want to see him fight Usyk again. You lost already.
They want to see him fight Anthony Joshua, whose name has become attached to a Tony Yoka fight, a Jake Paul fight, in some ways an Andre Ward fight, when the fight that people really want, the one they really want, is the Fury fight.
I think AJ still wants that fight, but does Fury?
I think that Turkey El-Sheikh would be willing to roll out the red carpet for that fight and finance that fight for another one of those big Saudi bags for both the fighters. The money is there, the interest is there.
You made a lot of money already, I understand that, but so did Anthony. Now go make some more. Go fight each other. What the hell's your problem?
You're coming off a loss? So is he.
I don't see any reason that they shouldn't fight.